Come on, stop trying to hit me and hit me. Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my review for Netflix's original series, limited series or mini-series called Green Frontier, or otherwise known as... So Green Frontier, when a young Bogota-based detective gets drawn into the jungle to investigate 4 femicides, she uncovers magic, an evil plot, and her own true origins. So Green Frontier is 8 episodes long, it's 45 minutes each per episode. The very first few minutes of the first episode drew me in. There was this tone of mystery, magic, and just kind of, it really draws you in. The music, the way it's filmed. It's set in the Amazon jungle for the most part. So this detective Helena tries to uncover who's killed these missionaries, and it's very interesting to follow her because you get to discover the kind of weird eccentricities of the people that live there, because there's different types of groups of different cultures, people that live in the jungle. There's different ways of dealing things and what is acceptable, how you speak. Even though she's from there, she was very out of her depth. So there's this fish out of water, which I thought was very interesting because you feel like a fish out of water. Well, I definitely did. It definitely has an air of adventure, which I really liked. I think that's one of the strongest things about this series, because although there's this mystery that you're trying to follow with this murder series, and there is corrupt cops as always. There's always seem to be corrupt cops. You are really kind of with her as she uncovers the plots, and it gets weirder and kind of wackier because there's this whole kind of religion around the Amazonian forest, and it seems to be alive with some sort of spirit. And I don't want to go too much into that because that'll be kind of going to spoiler territories, but if you've seen the trailer, you'll see what they're kind of delving into. It's definitely kind of religion, it's mystical fantasy, and that is grounded well within the story. It's kind of believable the way they go about that because it's part of the culture, so you can kind of give it some leeway when they deal with stuff like that. I think the acting, for the most part, especially with the lead, I thought she was strong, and there are others that I thought had kind of really great emotional depth, although they don't show a lot. There's stuff going on within their faces, just slight movements in their eyes and stuff, and so I was drawn into the characters. It is something that you're going to have to read, and I don't think the subtitles translate. My wife mentioned this to me. I don't think the subtitles translate that well, because the way they speak, the way the language is sometimes is very poetic. It feels like you're not getting the right... Excuse, it's so hot in here. It feels like you're not getting the right kind of story sometimes, and I think we're kind of missing some of that. So I think that was slightly disappointing. The filmmaking itself is very well done to keep spurring you on to watching the next episode, and those are kind of the great things about it. The acting, the story, it's very lends itself to adventure, and then there's that kind of mystical element, which I think is good. The thing that drags it back though is the pacing. I think these 8 episodes could have probably been 4 or 6. It's very slow. They tend to want to show you everything, even though there's a lot cut in between and you're jumping between timelines to see what happened in the past and what's happening now in the present. Within the storyline, there does seem to be times when they're in the jungle and everything is very slow paced, and I understand the way they're trying to show you things, and that is part of the storyline, but at times I did kind of just sigh, going, oh, please just kind of get on with it. We get what you're trying to show us. There's a bit of hand holding, a bit of spoon feeding within the storyline. I don't know if that's because it's a Colombian series, but I did think they could have shaved off a couple of episodes. That's kind of my negative, but I think the rest is very interesting to watch. It does progress nicely without it being slow. There are characters that are interesting. You might find a few of the bad guys not as fleshed out as the kind of the main protagonist, but I think the story where it's most interesting is the kind of the mystical element. So where they delve into the culture that is in the forest, and for me that was the most interesting to watch. And they don't give you too much. They kind of slowly reveal what's going on there, and the kind of the magical uses, their powers or whatever they can do in the forest. As each episode progresses, you get to see more of that. So the editing and the tone is done well with that. One of the other great things I really enjoyed about this series was the music. The music and score is done so well with each episode. I was really kind of riveted and put into what the story and the director were trying to show, what the ambiance that we're trying to create. You get it from the music and tone. You understand that there's stuff going on before there is stuff going on screen. And I think that's clever editing, that's good directing. that's well put together. And so I'm eager to see what else they could do. Apart from it being slow, I think I'm going to give this series a B, because the slowness does drag it down a bit, and I hate it when things are dragged out just because you want to get more episodes. That's what it feels like. But it is a solid story, it's interesting, and it's different. Let me know in the comments below if you've heard of this, if you're going to go watch it now. I hope you do. I'd love to chat to a few of you in the comments below just to see what you guys thought of it. Maybe you saw something completely different, maybe you thought it was crap. Let me know in the comments below. But most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.